last 5 decades is a story of wealth. I repeat, it's a story. I missed my point. Extremes are unsustainable, often dangerous, and rarely tolerated for long. So, why in this age of multiple crises do, do you continue to tolerate extreme wealth? The history of the last 5 decades is a story of wealth flowing nowhere but upwards. In the last few years, this trend has greatly accelerated in the first 2 years of pandemic. The richest 10 men in the world doubled their wealth while 99%, I repeat, while 99% of the rest of us saw their incomes fall. Billionaires and millionaires have watched their wealth grow by trillions of dollars, while the cost of simply living is now crippling ordinary families across the world. I want you to digest that. We're in a pandemic. The government is throwing money at people so that we have an economic system that doesn't fully collapse. We invest in helping drug companies produce the vaccines that's necessary to get us back on track. We, the people, have invested all these money to keep corporations hold. We passed the PPP, your money, to make sure Southwest can stay afloat, to make sure United can stay afloat, to make sure Exxon can stay afloat. We are pumping money out, folks. Your money. We are pumping your money to all these people, all these corporations. And what is the ultimate result? The ultimate result is they turn around and give that money to their shareholders, their executives with high bonuses. And then what do they give to us again? I want you to recall, go to the store. Higher inflation. Is it inflation caused really by the supply chain issue? Is it inflation really caused by shortage of oil or anything like that? No. You can't buy that. It is inflation because they have pricing power. They recovered. We gave them their monies that they didn't make during the pandemic, and then they decided they wanted more. They just couldn't get enough. But they're in Davos now, talking about what's best for society. So we have these millionaires who decided to write this letter with the expectation that somebody at Davos, one of those wealthy cats, those governments that don't want to tax the wealthy, will at least listen. The solution is plain for all to see, according to the letter. You, our global representatives, have to tax us, the ultra rich, and you have to start now. These are rich people saying, please save the world, save the country, tax us, please. We can't take it anymore. How much more money could we possibly get? Folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Would love to hear from you, your thoughts on not only the wealthy, your thoughts on what the wealthy is ultimately via their corporations doing to you. 713-526-5738. All right, continuing. The current lack of action is gravely concerning, according to the letter. A meeting of the global elite in Davos to discuss cooperation in a fragmented world is pointless if you aren't challenging the root cause of division. Defending democracy and building cooperation requires action to build fairer communities, not then, right now. It is not a problem that can be left for our children to fix. We caused the problem, is what their millionaires are saying. We ought to fix the problem. 713-526-5738. Give us a call. Let's have a chat. Let me know what you are thinking on the subject. Now is the time to tackle extreme wealth. Now is the time to tax the ultra rich. There is only much stress any society can take. Only so many times mothers and fathers will watch their children go hungry while the ultra rich contemplate their growth wealth, their growing wealth. The cost of action is much cheaper than the cost of inaction. It's time to get on with the job. Tax the ultra rich and do it now, they reiterate in that letter. Tax us now. It's simple, common sense economics. It is an investment in our common good and a better future that we all deserve. And as millionaires, we want to make that investment. Again, these are millionaires talking. They're saying the same thing we say on Politics Done Right, day in and day out. What's occurring with the wealth being transferred up the ladder to the few is legalized theft. And we got to do something about it. But you know who's responsible? We sit down and we say, those damn politicians, they're the ones causing the problem. They're the ones that are giving all these benefits to these rich cats. I have another answer, though, my dear brothers and sisters. It's not the politicians' fault. It is our fault. It is our fault for simply believing what those in power are telling us. It is our fault for simply accepting a corporate state and believing, just haphazardly believing what they say. It is our fault that we don't go and think deeper into what they're doing. It is our fault. I hear too many people defending these guys as if they need someone to defend them for ripping us off. You go to the store and you want to blame the people that have little control over the prices that you're being paid. The workers say we need more money so that we can afford to live. The rich person tells you they don't need any more money. If they get more money, your prices will rise. And then they turn you against your fellow worker, your fellow person, your fellow this, your fellow that. It's a racket. It is our fault. We have to get serious about believing in ourselves and believing that we are the ones who create an economy. We're the ones who make an economy run. And we cannot cede that to those who use the economy not as something to enrich us all, but something as a conduit to take it all away from most. It is our fault. We cannot be gullible. We cannot sit back and just believe for the sake of believing. We cannot believe on the things they taught us to believe. We cannot continue to hate on each other to prevent us from seeing who's really guilty. Every day you get up and you pay more for those eggs. It's not your fault, but it's not your neighbor's fault. It's not your conservative neighbor's fault. It's not your liberal neighbor's fault. It's not your progressive neighbor's fault. It's not your anarchist neighbor's fault. There's only one sect in this country, only one, that has ultimate pricing power and ultimate control. And we ceded it to them by electing politicians who've so far passed laws to protect them and not you. That is why there are certain things you can't do. That is why if you decided to go off grid in your community, you still have to pay the corporation a few bucks. That is why no matter what you do, our laws make the few whole. It's not their fault. It is ours. It is not, I repeat, it is not their fault. It is ours. So what do we do? We're going to talk about that a little bit later. What do? We have the power, but we have to enforce that power. We have to be able to do it. Let's go ahead and go to Jack. I think Jack is ready to come on. And as soon as it goes red, I'll put Jack on. Jack, you're on. Jack, you're on.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that besides our power of the vote,
Yes.
we have the power of how we spend our money
Yes,
with
you're
these
right.
corporations,
Yes.
and that if we were to we could unify around that and actually wage economic warfare on the wealthy.
Jack, first of all, very insightful and absolutely correct. Here's one issue, and here's how I would love to see this going, right? I wrote a paper where I said, yes, we do have the power. Now, but there are certain parts of our economy where we don't. Let's give an example. You have to drive. So therefore, in the energy sector, they have the noose. We also need electricity to run our household, so they have some leverage there. We also need a basic amount of food to live on. So my corollary to what you just stated, which is absolutely correct, sir, is that for in industries where this is the type of, I believe in a bifurcated economy. I believe in free enterprise. Okay, in other words, you want to have your pizza shop, you have your pizza shop. You want to have your grocery store, you have all these independent things that all of us can create our own businesses. But for things that are essential to life, essential for movement, I think those things should all be controlled by we, the people. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and William, I'll come after to you. Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, all I can do is agree with what you're saying. I mean, I would like to see, instead of the people being all divided, to be able to say, well, these corporations are, gouging us for gas. I'm going to try to find me a way to ride my bicycle a little more.
Agreed.
And slow down on that, and just as my own personal protest, I do these things.
I
I'm
I so agree with you, Jack. I so agree with you. We have, the biggest thing that they know how to do, right? And I say they because it's really orchestrated, it's psychologically tested. They know how to
Yes.
keep us divided. And what we have to do, and one of the things I do on my programs, I tell people all the time, I gave a speech to a club a couple of weeks ago, and I told them, I hate on nobody. Even those hating on me, I make sure not to hate on anybody. And I said the reason why is if I hate on somebody, Jack, they win. Because that's what they
Yes.
need. So therefore, it doesn't matter how bad you are to me, how rough you are with me, what you do to me. I am not. I am going to be that backstop that says I won't let them win. And you know what?
And that's what I admire about you, Humberto.
I appreciate that, sir. So I mean, that is what we got to do. So let's make sure, folks, everybody that's listening to our voices, both my voice and Jack's voice, everybody is your friend. Everybody is your brother and your sister, minus the corporate executives and shareholders forcing them to pilfer you. Anything else, Jack?
Well, I'll call back on some other things. I've got some personal opinions about, personal responsibility, being a citizen.
I love that.
And, okay,
We'll
I'll call
talk
back
about
later.
All right. You have a great time, Jack. Thank you so kindly for calling in. All right. Let's go to William. Come on in, William. Talk to me.
Hello, Egberto.
Talk to me, William.
Okay, I got two things that are real quick, and then one I want to finish why I haven't been calling.
Okay.
One is what Roosevelt did. He took the people that you were talking about when you started this diatribe, and the the millionaire class, and he rallied them at the Washington D.C. and said, "You people need to give us some money so we can get this economy rolling and get these poor people off the street." Right?
Yes. The New
Okay.
Deal. Go ahead.
Okay, so hardly anybody knows about that takeover that the Republicans tried to pull over when they tried to take out FDR.
Yes, I know about the story, but go ahead.
So what happened to those people? That's what I think people need to know. What happened to those people? that pulled that little farce off, but they were real serious about what they were doing. It was much more organized than that idiot Trump.
And they didn't succeed, did they?
No, they didn't. But what I'm talking about is what happened to the people, the congressmen, the people in the military. What happened to those people?
Look, let me tell you what happened to in general, and I'll generalize this, and it goes as follows. Most people don't care to be leaders. At first I was going to say most people are not leaders, but that's not true.
I'm talking about what happened to them when they had to go to court.
It never happened. It never really happened. We don't, in America, the powerful, even the deceitful powerful, don't go to jail in the aggregate.
Well, the whole deal is this ultra right wing group of people that are trying to take over the country. Mm-hmm. If you look at any other country, these people that tried to, that were them with the rebellion, they'd have them lined up, or they'd be in prison for 20 years to life.
Yes, and look at what's happening in
That's
Brazil.
What we're looking at if they get in power.
Look, wait, hold on a second, William. I really want to get in here because this is what Americans need to, I think, we as Americans have to understand. In other countries, you look at Brazil, and when they got their coup, they immediately started arresting people. They arrested about 1,000 people right away, and those people are going to be in deep caca. I can tell you that. I know how Latin American justice work. Okay, Latin American justice ain't American justice. But in America, we have two justice systems: the justice system for the poor and otherwise, and the justice system for the wealthy. In other words, you have Trump, who is considered the wealthy on one side, and then you have the rest, and they go around Trump with soft fingers. In other words, we talk
people on TV,
right?
These so-called pundits,
right?
They keep scratching their head. Why in the world are these people voting Republican? Because they are members of multi-generation crime families, and it's straight through. It's huge. When you look at what Reagan and Bush Sr. did with cocaine, and then what the Clintons
I
inherited.
figured you were going to be going there, but I want to tell you one thing. Hold on, William. Folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. Look, we have a lot of crime families. There's no doubt about that. But the basic reason a lot of people voted the way they voted in 2020. Actually, think about this. Donald Trump got more votes than Hillary Clinton got in her first election. Biden had to beat that plus 7 million to win. So, but
I understand that.
But no,
the whole deal is they need to quit, being soft touches on going after what these people really are and who they are.
Yeah. Again, I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, they have to,
okay.
but.
Okay, now let me get to my final point.
All right, go ahead.
The reason I haven't been calling in is, number one, they turned my phone off. I have a government phone.
Okay.
Number two, I have the same psychiatrist at the VA. She's from India. She's the sweetest little thing. And you have finally acknowledged that the people I'm talking about were really messing with me. And she told me that they're going to murder me or they're going to destroy me any way they can if I try and get a screenplay made and a movie made about what I know.
Okay. Let me tell you, William, they can usually that's how things happen. They threaten you. But look, go make your screenplay, William, all right? You go make your screenplay.
Well, I haven't been able to write a paragraph. They made me You are familiar with the shock doctrine by
Naomi Klein.
That's what they did to me right here at the VA hospital.
I hear you.
I haven't been able to write a paragraph. That's why I've been trying to get somebody to do a collaboration with me. I asked you for 10 years to try to interview me, and you wouldn't even do that.
It's not that, William. It's just that we don't have the intersectionality on that particular subject. But again, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. I'm telling you.
I mean, if you can allow the people I'm trying to show the world of, these people have been around forever.
Yes, they have.
You understand? But they got a huge toehold because of what Reagan and Bush Senior did.
William,
and then the
I'm gonna stop you
Clintons
right here.
inherited a
William,
bankrupt
I'm gonna
country,
stop
and they had
you,
to
William.
go with it.
William, I want to stop you right here to say one thing, okay? I've spoken to you over the years that I've been doing politics done right, and I'll be very honest with you. There's a whole lot of stuff that you say that many of us know actually occurred, but whenever you are revealing certain things, you always have to know your audience, and not only know your audience, know what your audience can take. Remember those two words of advice if you listen to anything that I've said here, okay? Because there's...
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No.
90, way over 90% of the people I talk to, which is about 500,000 right now, thank me from the bottom of their heart.
I am not doubting that. But William, I got to go finish with the program. But I tell you what, William, go write your manuscript because, like I said,
I just told you, I haven't been able. My mind races. It's
I got
in the
you.
book that Naomi Klein written.
I got
They did that to me right here in the United States.
Well, William, you got a friend here, okay? You're fine. You have a friend here. You're fine. Thank you so kindly, and you have a wonderful rest of your day, my brother. Anyhow, continuing with the program, the essay, I ended with the last phrase from the Millionaires' statement in that letter. Folks, but give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. And it ended this way, and I think I read it already, but it's important for us to reiterate it after William was called. Tax the ultra-rich and do it now. It's simple, common sense economics. It is an investment in our common good and a better future that we all deserve. And as millionaires, we want to make that investment. These are Millionaires says, please tax us, put it into general revenue so that you can do something positive with it. In other words, give people family leaves, give people health care, give people all these things that makes for a real society. All right. The signers included, like I said, Mark Ruffalo, as well as the chairman of the Patriotic Millionaires. All right, continuing, we have, while it is a good thing to have open letters like these from the stakeholders in our economic system with capital, it is not near enough. The current economic system is immoral by design. Wealthy stakeholders like Morris Pearl are moral. As such, they voluntarily supersede the immorality of the system they are a part of. Let's go ahead and get Johnny Carson on, and then I'll continue with these. I'll continue with the essay. Johnny, come on in. Oops, I think you're going to be on. There you are, Johnny.
Oh, that was quick.
Well, I stopped the essay because I said I always want to make sure the people who call have precedence. Anyway, continue, my friend.
Anyway, I tuned into your program halfway through your at the bottom of the hour, and I caught some of your conversation with the gentleman who can't get his words out. What's his name again? William, right. So, I don't know, unless you're a resident in a nursing home where others have custody over your every moment of every day, where it's nearly impossible to maintain a diary because someone's going to find it or take it or see it and then destroy it. That has happened. I don't see what the problem is for him to... does he have a custody issue? Does somebody have custody over him?
I am not sure, but I mean, William has been calling us for probably 10 years or so. And, you know, it's hard to... William, there's a lot of what William said about the drug trade and all of that. That is absolutely true. But if you're telling a story, the messenger is important, as well as being able to corroborate what you're saying is important. And I've been telling him that for years. You know, you have to be
even if you're in prison and you have regular visitation rights, provided you're not an issue to the administrator or the warden, and you have people who are volunteers and who know you, who are ready, willing, and able to record what you say or write down what you say over time. It can get out in one form or fashion, better than nothing.
Absolutely. And that's what you're repeating exactly some of the stuff that we talk about. Anyway, what's up, Johnny? Talk to me.
Well, you mentioned about a approach to an economy, a solid economy.
Yes.
And I've said this several times over the years in KPFT when it was at the other location. And I might have mentioned it a few weeks ago, either on your program or maybe to Steve Hunter. What we need is to evolve towards a hybrid economy.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's 60-40 or 50-50 or 65-35, it has to be heavily regulated capitalistic businesses, and then the balance has to be horizontally based cooperative businesses.
Exactly.
And there's lots of iterations of cooperative. It doesn't have to be one. It's not a monolith. It can be a variety of approaches. So,
Johnny, let me interrupt you there.
Learn from.
Let me interrupt you for a second there, because what you said is important. It doesn't have to be a monolith. And let me tell you that already in our capitalist system, we have a lot of cooperatives that are already in existence, working exactly as we think cooperatives should work. We also, for people who just think we want a centralized government that controls everything, that would be a disaster. I believe in free enterprise because, you know what? I like a certain kind of pizza and you may like a certain kind of sardine. All right? So, no, we want a bifurcated economy, but a moral economy where people can sustain. It's that simple.
Unfortunately, the only way we're going to get there, we're at least one or two generations away.
Yes.
Because first we have to solve the public education system.
Right.
Right now it's on life support thanks to Donald Trump and that lady.
Oh, wait. Let's stop. Let's not just hold Donald Trump. Let me tell you something, Johnny.
No, I know it started with Reagan. I know
yeah.
it started with Reagan, but I'm talking about the latest assault.
Right. Davos,
Reagan
yes.
started it, and then Donald Trump, he more or less finished it.
No, hey, look,
with,
I'm not.
Teach for America scam.
Right. Here's
and
the deal.
The charter school system.
Johnny, that is correct. That correction is correct. Because what I don't want, people, I'm trying to get people away from thinking that the root of all our problems is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the manifestation of the problem that has been growing for decades. So
Donald Trump is simply a Republican who's on steroids, and he's the latest iteration. Every single Republican president we've had, starting with Eisenhower on forward, has been progressively worse. Not progressive.
Progressively worse. I got you.
Progressive, but progressively worse.
Hey, Johnny, I need to go to Tory. Johnny.
Okay, 1 second.
Yes.
For example, with Eisenhower, what did he do? How did he start off the ball? He greenlighted that scheme of Kermit Roosevelt.
Yes.
Remember Kermit Roosevelt? He wanted to go to Iran and split people up, so he got CIA money to do it.
And then got
and
the
I'll
oil.
leave it there.
All right, thank you, Johnny. I got to go to Tory. Tory, come on in, my brother. Come on in.
Hey, good afternoon, Egberto.
Good afternoon, sir.
My comment for today is that essentially the problem we're having that's represented by people at Davos is that we've been hoodwinked with this sort of Orwellian doublespeak, forever calling republics democracies.
Right.
And republics are not democracies. It's lopsided a political and economic system. A republic is a legal system that creates a special class of super citizens via a constitution, representatives, who are a bottleneck on power and a way for concentrated wealth to control the political and economic system. This is by design. And then it's also by design to misname it and call it over and over again a democracy.
Well, you know what is interesting?
It's a way to prevent democracy.
Exactly.
That's the one thing that all the founders of this country agreed on. The quickest thing they agreed on was that they didn't want a democracy because they would immediately lose all of their status.
Tory, all you have to do is read the Federalist Papers, and you see that the commotion that they had and with factions and all, how do we solve the factionalization problems? And you read Federalist 10, I think, was the one that discussed factions. So, it was always evident that, yes, we were never going to be a truly representative democracy and that they didn't have faith that democracy would work. Now, let me grant something here. An uneducated people, right, if people don't, and this is the example I always give, right? If you have a bunch of hungry people, right, and you're growing corn, and you have a whole you cosechar, you have your harvest of all the corn, right? And you save a whole bag to plant for the next season, but people are uneducated and they're not full to the rim in their stomachs, and there's this huge amount of corn that's left for planting, they may say, no, let's go ahead and use that. I'm hungry now. That's what democracy could have happened with an uneducated democracy. That is the reason why people talk about a democratic system must have a certain level of education to prevent a democracy from ultimately killing society. So there's some merit to that. Go ahead.
Well, the problem with democracy is that it's not just a political or economic system, it's a culture. Yeah. And people don't have experience with democracy, from the macro to the micro, from families, schools, jobs, religions, militaries, governments. People have never experienced democracy. It's not part of our culture. It's like a word that we don't understand. It's just, it's not part of our social vocabulary, democracy. And so we need to build democratic cultures. And it's not just at the government level or the economic level. It's at the family. And, I'm very impressed with the Kurds. They have a democratic military. The soldiers elect their commander. And that's...
I didn't know that.
The model. That's the model we need to follow.
Right.
Is that, the workers need to elect their bosses. The police need to elect the police chief, or the people of the city need to elect the police. It's like we need, instead of top-down, we need bottom-up organization, or at least horizontal organization.
I agree with that, and that is why we earlier, I think with Johnny, we were talking about things like cooperatives and where things are an essential resource that belongs under the purview of we the people. Under the purview of we the people. Anything else you want to tell me, Tori?
That's it for today.
Thank you very much for.
I got my punches in.
Thank you very much for listening, my brother.
Okay,
all right, folks, we're going to get to the end of the essay, and it goes like this. And we still have time for a couple more calls. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. You guys have been quiet. You've been doing a lot of listening. I like to talk, but I really prefer hearing from you guys as well. Anyhow, while it is a good thing to have open letters like this from the stakeholders in our economic system with capital, it is not near enough. The current economic system is immoral by design. Wealthy stakeholders like Morris Pearl are moral. As such, they voluntarily supersede the immorality of the system they are a part of. The only solution is to ensure or to assure the masses that they have the power to take back what the ultra-wealthy have stolen from them using the laws they paid politicians to enact. Welcome to the discussion, Deborah Moyers, Patrick's Time. Welcome to Politics Done Right on the internet. We must first break the myth that the system as it functions today is ordained or divine. It is not. We must also have a valid alternative. We do. But we must get through the indoctrination that many of the leaders of our society have paid to cauterize into the minds of too many. What do I mean by all of that? Look, we know the solutions to all these problems. I mean, a bifurcated economy we talk about all the time. Certain industries must be nationalized. Healthcare, energy, and a couple others for the basics of humanity should not be the purview of for-profit corporations, because you will never be the one whose life would be worthy of. Think about this. Whenever you go to the doctor today, the first thing they ask you for is insurance. They ask you, how are you going to pay for this? They ask you, how are you going to be able to do this? They don't check for your health first. They check, how are you going to pay for this? And the reason why is healthcare is just another capital distribution system to take your money and put it into the pockets of a few. Don't you forget it. And I'm not blaming them for doing that. That's their job, to make money for their shareholders. And that's why healthcare does not belong in the private sector. Driving your car, you have to go to work. They know that they have you by the pelotas. They have you by the pelotas. You have to drive to work. And thus, in order, I can charge you whatever I want for energy because you got to go to work. That does not belong in the private sector either. And basic alimentation does not belong in the private sector. We have one quick call that we can probably take. Let's go ahead and take that one quick one. And because I want anybody who mentioned that, come on in. So it is important for us to understand what is occurring in our society today. Very important for us to understand what is in. All right, the person speaking about co-op, you're going to be on air in 1 second. Come on in, Riley. Riley, you're on.
Yeah, I just wanted to make an additional comment to the cooperatization. I worked for a company, Michael Baker Jr. Corporation, and they were involved in big stuff. Their crowning glory was the arch bridge, the longest arch bridge across the New River Gorge in West Virginia. That's where they're really one of their big feats is. But they also had a lot to do with oil and gas in Russia back in the 90s. But they're an employee-owned company, and I got to say that was one of the best companies I ever worked for. I mean, we made all the decisions, and everybody benefited. It was not just about the top shareholders, So, and I just wanted to make that in there. Cooperatization is really the key to success for everyone.
I appreciate that call because a lot of people think it doesn't work. And if they built a bridge as a cooperative, they could do anything. Thank you so kindly for calling in, Riley. We got to get out of here, okay? All right, folks. Look, we are getting close to that time where I have to give these airwaves up. So I just want to leave you with a few words. The condition that we are in today, and I don't mean to be accusative or anything of that nature, I'm trying for all of us to take the responsibility for our future. We are responsible for the elected officials that we have in office today. We are responsible that they have created laws that hurt us and at the same time continue to vote them in. But we can change that. When you go into your booth in the primaries, make sure you elect progressives who understand that the power lies within you. Make sure and elect in the general election those progressive politicians that are going to take back that which you have earned that was actually stolen from you. And when I say stolen, it's not hyperbole. When I say stolen, that is exactly what I mean. They stole your money using the laws that your elected officials pass under your purview. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!